My name is Magaly Colimon-Christopher. As I said before, I'm the artistic director of Conch Shell Productions. And I am located in the native lands of the Mattencock Native American tribe. Let me tell you a bit about Conch Shell Productions and why we're here tonight. At Conch Shell Productions, our mission is to showcase, produce, and present new works written by Caribbean diaspora writers. Now, tonight, I am the co-host of an event that was sparked in 2020. Together with Braata Productions and Kumu Kahua Theatre, we came together in 2020 and formed Reset Theatre Coalition. And tonight, we are invoking the desire, the need for change with excerpts from the plays that were brought forth in Reset 2020 that are featured in our collection, We're Not Neutral, Reset Series 2020 collected plays. And as a community, afterwards, we will be discussing the how, if, and why art can heal society. Art can end racism. I'd like to introduce you to Karl O'Brian Williams, Artistic Director of Braata Productions, Donna Blanchard, Managing Director of Kumu Kahua, and Harry Wong, Artistic Director of Kumu Kahua. Karl.
Thank you very much for that. As we come up together at a time, sometimes we wish we could just come together for fun and games, and definitely with Braata Productions, where we do the fun and games. We represent Caribbean talent. We represent the stories of the Caribbean, Caribbean Americans. But our mission is also to present the truth from those people and the work from that talent and the work that represents all our collective Caribbean nations. And so we're very proud to be here today and to just share space in this vigil at a time when sometimes we don't have any words. I'm buck shuffling because I'm speechless with so many things that have just happened in such rapid fashion, and you think we'd get used to it, but no, and we're here. And I'm very proud to now pass the torch over to Donna from Kumu Kahua Theatre.
Thank you, Karl. I hope we never get used to this. I am the very proud Managing Director of Kumu Kahua Theatre. We are located in the state of Hawaii, the island of Oahu, land of the Kanaka Maoli, in the Ahupua'a Palolo. Also here is Harry Wong. Harry, if you are able to join us, if you'd like to say a little bit about Kumu Kahua Theatre, otherwise I will just, you know me, I will just keep going. Okay, Kumu Kahua Theatre is currently celebrating its 50th season of existing, creating theater by and about the people of Hawaii. And partially because of the relationship that we built with these two other marvelous theaters and what we created last July, our work has been seen by more than 15,000 people in the world over the last 12 months. I have chicken skin just talking about it. That's the power of art, the power of theater, and what we are all creating together. I would like to introduce you to the writers all of whom joined us for creating this amazing work last July. This is part of the Reset Theatre Coalition. These wonderful people are Javon Andy, Mateo Moreno, Nyanda Cammock, Alvin Eng, Ren Nansen, Eric Stack, Phanesia Pharel, Kiki Rivera, and Marion Lyman-Mersereau. Thank you all so much for being here.
It seems that we lost Javon due to technological issues, so we're going to go ahead and start the piece. Thank you.
We are so excited here at PLV Agency with your upcoming production of Eye of the Storm. It's poignant, funny, heartbreaking, blah, 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 blah. I wanted you to make small talk, not blow smoke up my ass. I wasn't. We really do think highly of your play. I do, especially. It's one of the best plays I've read in years. Jose, can you adjust their lighting? They look white. No, white. Blanca? What? Oh, forget it. Sorry, they so slow when I ask him to do anything. I guess you get what you pay for, right? Oh, you look a little better. I don't see the relevance of everything has relevance. I'm of mixed race. Well, there you go. That probably explains it. So you majored in design, correct? You went to Cornell University? That's primarily a Black school, right? A Black school? Cornell, a Black school, right? Why are you looking at my personal resume? You're just hiring the agency, not just me. Well, I like to know who I'm going to work with. Plus, Jose printed it up for me. Gracias, Jose. Did you hear me? Gracias. He doesn't understand anything. You know, I gotta say, I really like your company. The mock-up images that you sent over were stunning. Well, thank you. It's very ethnic. It's got a spice to it, you know, like a flavor. It feels cool. If I may speak freely, I would love that. The world doesn't need any more living room dramas, you know, filled with white people that we can't relate to. I think audiences want to see people that look more like them. And although there's an assumption out there, I think, that the BIPOC community, you don't think it's too Black, do you? Too Black? Some of it I just don't get. Every character seems a bit, scary, maybe? Because they're too Black? No, not just that. But it's the way they talk, you know? It just doesn't feel like Broadway.
It's because we can't breathe while we say Black Lives Matter. It's because we can't walk the streets without being hassled, oppressed, or stripped of our human rights. Black Lives Matter is us not being able to. We can't until you remove your knee. We can't until you remove the chains. We can't until systemic injustices are demolished. We can't until you see us as human. Black lives matter, but you say all lives matter. We know. Yes, we know. But Black Lives Matter is a statement that our lives should be acknowledged. Black, that is who we are. Will you allow us to? Why is it today we're still asking? Why is it today we're still chanting? Why is it today we still cannot breathe? We can't breathe. Through tears, we can't breathe.
I can't see you. Don't overwork, okay? I want to say hi. You're scaring me. At the hospital 3 hours ago, I can't breathe.
We've been in these streets, baby, every day.
You're muted, Eric.
Cully, so where's my Rasta Jesus shirt made? I can hear it now. So many GI die fighting communism, and for what? To end up buying products from the same country. So why did all the GI die for? The rich, the oil, the 1%. Come here. Haiti, oh. Why can't it be made in Hana or Honolulu or Honolulu? Why does it have to be in the poorest country where one side, the 1% vacation, one hop, skip, jump from Jeffrey Epstein, and the rest of the island slave labor for their lives for pennies a day? be the change. We must be the change. We are all Aina. Aikako'o. Just me and my tats. No. Surf shorts are made in Hawaii, or at least California. Egypt. Egypt's not bad. They built the pyramids. I'm sure that was by slave labor. Oh, still, yeah, that was a long time ago and still goes on today. They should just doze down the pyramids. How do you think the Jews feel when they see a picture of the pyramids or the Sphinx? Symbols of enslavement in captivity. Oh, not my BBDs. Gotta be made in Vietnam. Oh, damn. Did lives ever matter, or is this like world peace? How can we be the change when we never know how to make change? Just me and my tats.
So I found a quarter today. Don't know why, but I did. I was standing outside, handling some matters. Gotta fill my mind, stomach, and veins. Bills don't pay themselves. You found a quarter. You don't say. Well, that quarter, sir, is all mine. All mine. Does it have your name on it? Because it sure don't have your face on it. How could it? I was tied up trying to fix myself. You were tied up in other matters. I understand. Master's got other people to feed too. Himself, his self, and his himself. When I saw that quarter, I wanted to scream like, shit! I ain't never had not 1 cent to myself. With this fucking quarter, I could go to Silicon Valley and hop into a time machine, go back in time and buy myself. In fact, I could go back and buy my ancestors. I could go back and buy the entire plantation. I could go back and buy 10 acres in Florida and build a castle. It's been done before. Not by someone like you. They wouldn't take that quarter. Anyone with eyes would know that a nigger can't have a quarter. They'd lock you away. That's what they'd do.
In our village of island academics, diasporic wayfinders, Mana Moana creatives, white is not a color. It is the lack of. White is an elusive spirit permeating the air, blocking our airways, blinding our people with self-hatred, with hatred of self and each other. Fear not, for you bear the blood of resistance, of freedom fighters, Pacific warriors, and oceanic navigators who find their way under the veil of a bright twinkling past, scattered in the vastness of a beautiful black sky. Remember that creation occurs in blackness. Remember that in our Pacific, gods were made of flesh and blood. They could be argued and contested with, and could therefore be brought down or raised up. Resist, resist and rise, rise like a mighty wave of 40,000 by your side. And as you rise, uplift the voiceless. Bring with you all those who have been held down by that heavy white light of supremacy.
These racist pigs have been fucking with black men forever. The whole system fucks black men. Black men are constantly being fucked.
This COVID mask is a pain in the ass, but it's not the pain of having to teach your daughters and sons about how to behave with extra courtesy around ones who believe the sun shines on every breath they take, on every move they make, unlike those who hope Each day, the breath they take won't be their last one, who live in fear that the move they make might be the wrong one. It will be an arduous task to remove the mask of long-held privilege to those born white. Their masks have such a tight fit. Some believe it belongs exactly where it sits, as though they created it from a do-it-yourself kit. They think they're without flaw. They don't understand it's the luck of the draw. A black knee bends in protest and a white knee bends on a black neck. The black knee finally gets an apology and the white knee gets what remains to be seen. This can't be who we are as a country that professes human rights and equality. Oh, say, can you see? Yes, we can see that flag. We see it sag as it drags itself to wave with what little dignity it has left. It is bereft for brave knees that in protest have bent. The life it has spent is a noble symbol of the land of the free, only to see tribal lines that rarely blur. When you stir red, white, and blue, lavender appears, the color of a bruise, of brutal abuse. Separate the colors and find more reminders. Red is the blood spilled at the hands of whites. All done with impunity, with a lack of true blue honesty. Of this truth, we must all take note, so never again will there be another white knee on another black throat, or another black body shot in the back, or another hanging from a branch. We must each do the serious work to change ourselves, to change our community. We must co-create a respectful, responsible unity. We must be the change we need to breathe.
Breathe with me. Move with me if you'd like. Seated or standing up. Lying down but never out. Breathing together is being together. Chi is life. Feel it. Chi is breath. Feel it. Chi is eternal. Feel it. Chi is free only if we fight for it. Feel it. Breathe with me. Sometimes the stars don't align. Most times, numbers don't align. We are living in one of those times. 929 destroyed us. Now 929 inspires us. In 9 minutes and 29 seconds, a cop took the chi straight out of George Floyd's neck, but a teenage girl changed the world with her video testament. The testament willed George Floyd's chi to become our living legacy. Breathe with me. Use his breath to change. Feel the chi. Use his breath to pray. Feel the chi. Use his breath to incant. Feel the chi. Use his breath to rant. Feel the chi. Use his breath to scream. Feel the chi. Use his breath to dream. Feel the chi. Use his breath to achieve the dream. Use his breath to feel the chi. Breathe with me. George Floyd had a dream. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream of justice, a dream of liberty, liberty from oppression, liberty from suppression, liberty from bigotry, liberty from poverty. Breathe with me. Nelson Mandela said, overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice. Emma Lazarus said, until we are all free, we are none of us free. Until we achieve true justice, we can't breathe. Chi can't breathe. Breathe with me. Feel it. Feel it. Fight for chi. Fight for chi. Fight for chi.
Activism has no time for a break. We took one. We stopped. But lots of folks didn't. We're playing catch up right now.
Thank you so much. We were expecting Javon Andy, but he's having computer issues. I would love to introduce you to the artists who presented today. We'll go around starting with Karl and then make our way around. Feel free to turn your unmute yourself so you can introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Karl O'Brian Williams, Artistic Director for Braata Productions, and I was the playwright of The Signs of Friendship, and I just read snippets from that short play.
Mateo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mateo Moreno. I am a playwright. I wrote Pitch. I am in Queens, New York, home of the Lene Lenape and Canarsie people.
Nyanda.
Hi, my name is Nyanda, and I wrote the piece I Cannot. And I'm in Brooklyn, home of the Lenape people.
Run.
Hi, my name is Darren Nansen. I wrote Fa'alinga, and I'm from Hawaii, home of the Kanaka Maoli.
Marion.
Aloha kako. I wrote the piece I Can't Breathe. I'm from the island of Oahu in the Ahupua'a of Waikiki in the Ili of Manoa.
Kiki.
Aloha, I'm Kiki Rivera. I wrote Black and Brown Babies. I am coming from the Tongva Nation, also known as LA. Mahalo.
Eric.
Aloha mai. My name is Eric Stack. I'm a high school teacher and on the island of Hawaii, or better known as Mokuokeawe, in the Ahupua'a, or district of Puna. I reside in the Little Ili, or the district of Waikahe, better known as Wine Paradise Park. And I'm part of the Aina of Pele, and to be inclusive, the Aina of Aila'au.
Thank you. Alvin.
Hi, my name is Alvin Eng. I'm a playwright and performer. I wrote She Can't Breathe. I'm coming to you from the unceded lands of the Lenape Nation, now known as New York.
Phanesia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Phanesia Pharel. I'm a playwright, and I wrote Point 25. And I am currently in Brevard County, Florida, which is known as the land of the Seminole Indigenous.
Thank you. So this whole conversation, the topic of our conversation is, can playwrights affect change? How do we affect change? What is possible as artists? And so the work you've heard, these people are pretty brave, because playwrights usually sit back and let the actors do the job. These playwrights said, I'm going to read my words, because what was important for this event, for me, for Karl, for Donna, is for us to say, as the creator of your work, what are you trying to affect? And this work is about the end of racism, which is a 1,200 year mindset. And let's go around, whoever wants to jump in. Do you feel that it is your job? Is it your initiative? Or what do you feel about this question? Whoever wants to jump in.
I'll jump in because I'm so sorry that Ren and I have to pop off in just a few minutes, but I want to say that
Tell them why you're popping off. They need to know.
But 24-hour play festival is taking place between Kumu Kahua Theatre and Nothing Without a Company, a theater company in Chicago, land of the Potawatomi. I feel it is my job every day to be able to admit that I have lived with privilege and that I cannot understand what I have not grown up in, what I have not been exposed to. But if I do not keep my eyes open, if I do not find a way to humble myself, then it's never going to get better. It has to start with the individual. And that's part of the reason I'm so honored to be able to be a part of what we have done together with Conch Shell and Braata and all of the amazing artists that have come together. This is my gig, art. What I don't know what else I can do, but what I can do is support this art. And that is what I've devoted my life to.
Would you like to share, Ren? Because I know you have to go off and do another show.
It's just been an honor, been able to share my words. Hopefully it gets something out of you that you never thought or felt before. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ren.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Donna and Ren, for being part of this, because I know you were multitasking, but you needed to be here and we needed you to be here. And Kumu Kahua is doing some amazing work to change the stereotype of the people of Hawaii, and we appreciate you. So
Thank you all.
thank you.
Bye.
But we're still staying on for the rest of us. This conversation has to be had. And I was sharing with Alvin and Mateo earlier that I'm always sparked to create art for social change, but the conversation of what does that mean? What does it mean to be an artivist? I suddenly felt I had like-minded spirits in the room with me when I was watching Exterminate the Brutes. Exterminate the Brutes. It's a documentary on HBO, written and directed by Raoul Peck. And I suddenly realized I'm not alone. We're not alone as theater artists, film artists. Everybody is aware of the importance of the narrative.
Absolutely. If I can, it's our duty. I mean, not just as playwrights, as every human, like being that we are blessed with breath, we need to use that to really fight. And so on two things, we've learned so many lessons inadvertently through the pandemic. And I think for us theater artists and playwrights, that we have to take our craft, our art, our passion to the street. It's not enough to only be on the stage. We need to be on both. And I think so much of like a lot of theater is also like a direct action, live protest. That is theater. So I felt that that's what we need to do now, and we are doing it. Like I've been honored to work with a group called Rise and Resist in New York, and we've engaged a number of playwrights. Like I've been lucky to work with the great, my very first dramaturg back in the 18th century. My very first dramaturg was William S. Yellowrobe Jr., the great Native American playwright, and he wrote a piece for us, and we got some indigenous performers to do it on the Museum of the Indian downtown. So that was just the way to do that. And then the other part of the question, I think it's great that playwrights and everyone was amazing. So it's almost, I love playwriting in theater because you have both sides. You have the solitude of creation, but yet you have the spectacle of performance and sharing. And I feel that as playwrights, when we write, we're entering into the heart, the soul, the mind of the character of the piece. But then when we get to perform, and as actors too, we enter the body. And that's a completely different journey. And you need both. And we need all that with the heart, soul, and the fist raised right now. So thank you for gathering us again tonight.
Thank you, Alvin. Carl, I know you're itching. Oh, I'm sorry, who was about to say something? I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
No, I was just going to say I echo everything that Alvin just said. I think there's a lot to be done. I think there's more to be done every day. And as a writer and as an activist and just as a person of color, I feel like, yes, I will write and I will share and I will do what I can, but I will also show up on the streets. So I think the very least we can do is to be there when we can. We can't always, so we also have to know what we are emotionally capable of in the moment, because we're no good to anyone if we cannot emotionally be there. but to be there when we can, to be there online when we can't, to share and to educate, to speak our truths, to speak other truths, to make sure that we connect not just with our own circumstances, but with other circumstances, with all people of color, to show up for everyone and to make sure we're there and supporting and loving all the pieces. I'm so honored to be part of all of these playwrights and all of these wonderful pieces and to have had this journey over the past year. And I know we're all going to continue that. And like I said, it's the very least I can do.
I call this an invocation for change. And some people, it's like I wrote it and someone said to me, what do you mean by invocation? And I saw that you nodded, Alvin. I saw that you nodded, Eric, or maybe you were just moving your head. But if you agreed with me that this was an invocation for change, what did that mean to you when you were listening to each other read your words, when you were sharing the text that you created? How is this an invocation for change for you to be reading these words and repeating what was written in 2020 in regards to George Floyd's incident and previous instances, and the recent instances, repeating what we were writing to change? Eric, would you like to share?
Sure, yes. And I was nodding, agreeing with you. And the reason why is that is I feel that there's, even though people would rather not believe it, there's a huge power in words, in the rhythm of words, whatever language it is spoken in. And to me, and I teach my students this, the act of communication is such a miracle. And I don't think people recognize the miracle enough as far as when people come together to express these things. And when it comes to being an artist or a playwright, I have no choice. My choice is either to live and express myself, or to just go into mediocrity and die and not do what I was born to do. Because people have asked me, why do you do it? It's not as though that's what you make your living off of, or they try to put a value on it. It comes down to I'm driven to do it. And I feel most of all that, and I find it funny that for us to get at the truth, we tell lies, we tell stories. And that's an old adage that's been used over and over and over again, that we tell these stories, these lies to get to the truth. And I've come to believe, and I think my play sort of reflects it, is that I'm coming to realize that for the longest time, especially the country we live in, we have been living a big lie. That I think when Jefferson wrote, all men are created equal, I think he had in his mind a bunch of footnotes he left out. And so but what makes it exciting is we believe in those words, and we want to make them come true at some point. And so maybe this is just part of the process. And so I'm driven to do these things, and because I want to be part of this process to where those words actually have a day where they become real, where they're not part of a big lie, where we actually force them to become real. And I want to be part of that dynamic. I really have no choice to do it.
Marion. I'm sorry. Nyanda, you're unmuted. Yes, I'm sorry, Marion.
I believe that art can heal, it informs, and it can transform. And I think it's very important that we continue doing the things that we do. History has taught us that history has taught us nothing. So here we are continuously doing the same thing over and over again, but we have to keep going, because if we stop, then does it make sense to stop is a question, or do we keep pushing until something happens?
I love what you said about history, though. History, his story.
Yes.
His, right? His story. So ultimately history is his story. And the only way we could change his story or add stories that challenge his story is to write.
Yeah, telling our stories. We have voices that can be heard.
Thank you, Nyanda. Marion.
Well, going back to the idea of invocation, right? It's a call. And I think that that's what all of us as writers and creators feel called to do what we do and to express ourselves through our words, through our various forms that transform. Thank you, Nyanda. That's a beautiful line. You know, I grew up here in Hawaii, and if you've ever visited, we're all minorities. There's no majority here. If you put all Asians together, which we never do in Hawaii, we know Chinese, Japanese, Korean, we don't say Asians. We're all, each of us, minorities. So it's always strange for me to go to the continent. And I say the continent because Hawaii is my mainland. It feels very strange to see what I see and to be part of a majority. In my heart of hearts, my great-grandmother was half Hawaiian, half Chinese. So I'm Hawaiian Chinese, and you can really see it, right? So, you know, this whole thing that's going on, we need to say something about it. We need to fight back. We need to stand vigil, as you've said, and we need to do the work with our words and however else we can.
Yeah, Kiki, I see you nodding, ending the silence. I saw you nodding at that.
Yeah, I heard Nobuko Miyamoto put it very simply recently, and she said that stories, if we all knew each other's stories, then we wouldn't be killing each other. And so I think that it's as simple as that. Stories will save the world. And that's why I do it. And that's why I think that's a very special place for writers to be in, because we're part of the world, yet apart from the world almost. So getting the opportunity to speak all truths.
Powerful. And as your head turn, you got an idea, you have a thought that you need to share. I could feel it.
I feel multiple things. I mean, we all know and we all believe that art can change the world, and I think that I feel bad for people who don't understand the power of art, because it's clear to me that they haven't had access to it. So my question is, how can we make art more accessible for everyday folk? We're all over at the moment in this call. We're spanning. There's oceans between us. And so I'm sure that some of us have been able to make theater accessible, but I know that in my experience, I saw so much more theater when I moved to New York, and so much great theater, and so many of the like super deep woke playwrights are like being held there, and of course there are incredible playwrights all over the world. But I do feel like there's some hijacking of talent in certain hubs. And I question too, like living in New York for about 3 years and seeing the way that politics of theater operate, like interning for theaters, working with theaters. I question too what plays get recognized and what plays get uplifted. I think there's like a trend. Like certain things come in. Our oppression is never a trend. Our humanity is never a trend, and that's not even up for question, right? And if we're really trying to have the hard conversations, we have to be willing to have conversations that might be uncomfortable to have. But you know, one of my favorite pieces from tonight was Mateo's piece, because there's so much truth to that. Like, you are bringing your play that can change the world, and then someone's going to look at it and say, can we liven it? Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we liven it up? I'm a little confused about this. I love it, but maybe we should run a different and it's like, that's unfair to us, and it's happening in every industry. This is happening. If it's happening to us in the arts, it's happening to the lawyers who are advocating on people's behalf. It's happening to the TV writers who are coming up with great ideas, and then their show is given, you'd be surprised how many shows are about people of color that have mostly all white writing rooms, right? Like, this is affecting every industry. And so I'm just fed up because I think that they're playing us now. Now it's fake. See, I remember when I was a kid and Trayvon Martin happened, and I'm from Florida, so I remember that very vividly. When Trayvon Martin's case was going on, CNN on TV, they were like, well, is it wrong that this innocent young black boy was shot in the streets? And now they're doing it like trauma porn. They're sensationalizing these deaths. They're grinding these black people on TV every single day. People are watching it and nothing is happening, right?
Yeah.
They want the next story because now it's sensational. Now it's amazing. So I think that the conversation also needs to turn to how are we going to take our power back? Because honestly, I don't like to curse, but these institutions, these gatekeepers, I'm done. Ugh.
Thank you, Phanesia. Thank you. And going back to gatekeepers, I mean, so if you can't get to the theater, how can you access the language, right? And the power is indeed in making sure that the language gets out, right? And what we did at Conch Shell Productions is take your language and put it in book form. So anybody who says I can't find a play written by a BIPOC writer about the issues in 2020 is lying. So the power is in the hands of the playwright because you can publish your play and put it on Amazon. And, it may not sell, but no one can say, I don't know where to find your play. You could say, just go to Amazon. I give you a free copy. Go to Amazon. So basically, the question is, how do you control the distribution of your vision of the world, right? You're talking about how if you take it to one of these major theaters, they're going to try to, as they did in Mateo's case, is it too Black? Is it too Hawaiian? Is it too Chinese, too Korean, too Trinidadian, too Jamaican, too Haitian, does it, whatever that means. So then comes the conversation, and Karl is looking at me like he's going to pierce me because he has an idea. His laser eyes are like, Magaly, stop talking so I can say something. So how do playwrights affect change? You can't wait for permission is ultimately what is happening here. And so you take the control. Am I right, Karl? I mean, talk to me. Let me hear it.
And trust me, the laser eyes are probably just like, oh my God, you're on it in terms of the point and all the points made here. Because I keep saying, I think this week I've said it like 3 times. I love to see all these appointments of people of color in these great positions and theaters, especially Black women. I love to see it, but I keep thinking, where is the support system for these people? Do they have the support systems? Because you can put me in a position of leadership and then have my team disagree with every single thing that I'm doing. You can undercut my legs very easily. It's very easy to get a post stamp, right? It's fashionable to just put us on stamps right now. And it's fashionable to put us everywhere in these positions of power. And we look good, right? We got the photo. The headshots are looking great. Our people are out there. We're ticking off all these boxes. But I wonder about the teams that these people have. I wonder about the offices. And it's not just theater, but everywhere, as you mentioned. Where are the other spaces when I walk in? Is the infrastructure there? Is the scaffolding there? Is that transition period welcoming? Are they seeing me where I'm coming from, or is it that we just need to check these boxes? We just need to have these people and find there are a lot of white people deciding, let me make some space. But is it let me make some space and leave you, or am I going to share the resources? Am I going to open the door like really wide? We keep talking about these doors. We didn't make these doors. You know what I'm saying? The people used to say, all right, we took over the plantation. There's a reason we burn it down, because what we understand about the plantation house looks really great. But a lot of that china and everything that looks great, we don't like it. It itches, you know, when we put on the crinoline, it can itch for a reason.
Vanilla in the middle of the Caribbean. How does that make any kind of sense?
Right. So I worry about people in these positions, a genuine worry, because I think that the institutions need to be held accountable for how they're doing it. It's not just interpersonal and racism. That, to me, that's easier to deal with. I can call out a friend for being racist. I can call out people. I can be upset with the people in retail that giving me upset, and I can, you know, cancel them out on social media. But the institution, you know, that is the thing, right? All of that we're talking about, the glass ceiling, this ingrained racism that has been set to paper from Jefferson and before. That's really what we're battling with, and that's why it's important for us to keep on doing what we're doing, because I believe that if we keep flooding the space, because people, you know, will say, oh, you're having a little vigil, well, how many followers you're going to get, how many, it don't matter. What matters is that we're doing this and somebody else is doing it here, somebody else is doing it all over the globe. And so they can't lie anymore and say that we're not, because for too often I think we've been left out of history. You know, I'm ashamed sometimes when I think about what I learn about other populations and the oppression that they went through, and why am I just learning it now? That's because before they could easily hide it. They could easily hide it, right? So now they can't do that.
Or
We have
tell the
internet.
story in the way that makes them feel comfortable.
Thank you.
Like, you know, it's like, I don't know how old anybody else is, but I grew up watching those movies with John Wayne and never quite liking how everybody shot at the Native Americans, but thinking, is this the truth? And in fact, that Hollywood told the story, his story, the way they felt it should be told, and it was never truthful. So there you go. The writer, the creative writer, the playwright, the screenwriter told a story that informed everyone. This is the story. So we, as playwrights, how many people feel that we must write to affect change? Are we artivists? Are we simply artists? And I'm going to tell you what everybody in the audience is saying before we continue, okay? So there's some powerful messages here. Delissa Reynolds said, it is an artist's responsibility to be the agent for social change. So we have audience members saying, here, 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 yes, yes. And let me see any other. Janice Faitala, I'm Fetala, I hope I'm saying your name properly. Be the change we need to breathe. Because that is indeed what people of color need to be able to do, to simply breathe in their way, breathe as they choose, not breathe in a way that makes someone who considers himself the majority feel comfortable, but simply breathe. And that's what your work inspires, the ability to breathe in a way that is familiar for all. I know a number of you have to leave, and I promised that this wouldn't go beyond 50 minutes. And so I want to go ahead and wrap this up. Kiki, you have to leave. Thank you so much for being here. And everyone, thank you so much. Karl, do you want to wrap this up with a final note?
I just want to say some very important things were said in this space. And one of them that struck with me is that you really have to figure out where you are and be very honest with where you are right now. It's just not a good time. So take care of yourself. And I think as we move as a collective, that we need to just trust that there are other people that will be doing the work. So if you need to take a time out, it's never that you've quit, but you're just coming to come back stronger. Because that's what it is. Because sometimes the artists, you know, I think it was said in this very space, we're creating art and we're kind of hiding away sometimes because we need to hide away to do it. And then sometimes we're out in the open. And I think we just have to keep assessing the space, keep creating the art, keep believing that it will change. And when we feel whatever these feelings are that kind of take us out of the world sometimes, take the time that we need and take care of yourself and be safe, people. But we're not stopping fighting.
And if you want an inspiration, if you're thinking, I need to do something, I need to find the language, I need to better understand, because there are people who do not understand that there is racism. They don't understand the heart and the soul of the people who are being forced to feel othered. Read our work. We're not neutral. It's available on Amazon. Read, see, Exterminate All the Brutes, Exterminate the Brutes. It's on HBO. Go to Netflix and there are documentaries galore that will open your eyes. Artists are coming forward and creating the content to awaken your heart and your soul. And we have the best of intentions, as you could hear. That is our purpose. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we are going to